So we join the Miami Dolphins on their next third down. It's now 3rd and 10. Ball is on the Bills 39. It's worth noting in this series alone that Isaiah Ford dropped a first down, what should have been a first down pass. And on the very next play, Parker had the ball knocked out of his hand by the DB in coverage. So now let's look what we do on this third down. So after the excitement of the sneak on the last third down we reviewed, we're now back to a more traditional look. We've gone empty backfield. So I would say this is tripped right empty bunch at the bottom. So at the top of the screen, we have Ford and Bowden running drags at about 5 to 6 yards. Inside them we have Gesicki, who's running an inside release and bends it inside the hash marks, heading towards the end zone. In the bunch look, we've got Ahmed, who's going to run a flat, and then Parker at the bottom of the screen, who's going to run 11 to 12 yard hitch, then sit down in the zone. Now to look what the defense are doing to counter the trip left empty bunch look. On the outside, both of our outside receivers are going to be press covered, and then on the snap of the ball, the linebackers and the DBs are going to break into their zones. So it's going to be a cover 2, press on the outside, with running 3 zones in the middle of the field. Another third down and twist from the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills. In this screenshot, I've only drawn in the stunt. It's identical on both sides. The defensive ends are aggressively going to step down like they're pass rushing to try and get the shoulders turned off the tackles and then slant inside into the B gap, which is the gap between the guard and the tackle. At the same time, the defensive tackle here, they're both 3 techs, are going to loop round off the back of the slant by the defensive ends. I believe this is a tactic to keep 2 in the pocket. And during the coach's film, I will talk about what we do, how we pick it up well and how we don't. Look at how the passing tree works out on this third down. Worth remembering just a couple of things to look at. This safety and this safety are going to work for depth. So this top safety inside the 20 and the 3 pass defenders up or near the line of scrimmage, 1, 2, 3, are going to set up zones. Outside DBs press coverage. So the reason why that's important, if we look at the trips formation at the top, where we have Ford and Bowden, they're both going to run crossing routes. Right now, can you see that the eyes of the DBs, the defenders, are all on the crossing routes? And then I know I've left out Gesicki, but I'm going to come back to Gesicki. At the bottom of the screen, we've got Parker, who's being pressed. The safety is still going to be afraid of Parker. Here, Parker inside release, and then sets up. But what that does is that little inside release allows Ahmed here to get to the outside. The DB can't leave to help with Parker because he's afraid of his responsibility is Ahmed in the flat. The free safety is being held by Parker, and now we're going to talk about Gesicki. So on this play, all I want you to do is focus on Tua and Gesicki. So on the snap of the ball, Gesicki here's got free release. There's no one, as he runs downfield, the first player who could impact him is going to be the linebacker. So we watch it here. Right now, the linebacker cannot leave to go with Gesicki because he can see this crossing coming across his face. As Gesicki breaks, Tua now still has the ball. This DB is going, this safety is going, this is my deep threat. I'm going to flow to that ball. You can see that the ball just gets there in just a fraction before the DB gets there. So let's just run it again. And I think as we run it through, I'll explain to you when good release. The ball should be gone now. Now this is all open space. Something again, it's the right read by Tua. I like the read. He just has to practice the timing. And that could be an issue of there was no preseason camp. But we caught the ball. Good first down, good read, good conversion. I'm going to look now at how our pass pro stands up against what the defense line are going to do. As we spoke about already, there's going to be a slant, but we're going to look at the offensive right side to start off with because they handle it pretty well. So as we run it through, Carreras here is I believe he's making the call. He's just passed the signal on to Flowers and Jackson. It's going to be half slide right, which means he's going to step to his right to pick up the any leakage or blitz. However, what we want to do is look at the defensive end. This defensive end, one step down, goes to start to slide into the B gap between Hunt and Davis. The trick here is Hunt stays square. He has his head to the inside. And again, we'll compare that to Jackson in a second. Davis aggressively sees the defensive tackle slanting over, works to take the defensive end off Hunt, which he does. Hunt a little bit lungy here, but recovers. Is in good body position, got his hands in striking position. Although the defensive tackle gets his hands to the inside, that's a pretty good stalemate. So that's a win on the offensive right. As we look on the offensive left, it doesn't work out so well. This is obviously Jackson, and this is Flowers. Early, Flowers is worried about the blitzing linebacker, which is completely understandable. But where this falls down on the left-hand side, good body position. Everyone's in good body position here. Now, the defensive end slants inside. Jackson hasn't really reacted to it. Although he's foot stepping up, he hasn't brought his head through. That just got away from me, sorry. So we'll just let it run. Blitz, worried about the blitz again. Now, right here, the defensive end slanting in. You can see where the Bills lineman's helmet is. That's where Jackson's helmet should be. And as it is, he allows Jackson allows him to take him and Flowers off the block. I've been critical of Flowers' pass protection on third down twist pickup this year, but there's nothing he can do about that. Jackson didn't recognise it, didn't recover, and then actually it's just a mess on this side of the line. Really lucky Tua stood in the pocket and got the ball off, but that's something we're going to have to improve from an offensive line standpoint for the forthcoming season.